Let's talk about the forthcoming Victorian election. You're down in Melbourne. We've been saying all along that Victorians really need to ditch Dan Andrews, even if it is only for Matthew Guy. I get the feeling, Gideon, that the needle has shifted a bit towards Matthew Guy, even if he's gone from nearly impossible to the long odds outsider. What's your take on it?
Well, firstly, I'd say nothing is impossible in Victoria. Victoria has a long history of throwing up surprises. Nobody expected Jeff Kennett to lose in 1999. Nobody expected Tid Ballieu to win in 2010. I remember that victory party very well. It was one of the strangest ones I've ever been to, because I think there was a lot of concern in that room that Premier Ted would not be a particularly good one, and indeed that looked like it came about. So I think that Matthew Guy has tightened things. I think he's still an outside chance at this stage. But what I will say is I think he's starting to get the memo. I think the decision to scrap the outer suburban suburban rail loop was a good one. I think that is the kind of thing that people really need to see some product differentiation between the Coalition and Labor. I think the decision to reopen Victoria for gas exploration was one that was sorely needed. Again, important product differentiation at a time when Victoria is basically running out of gas. Nothing is impossible in Victoria if Matthew Guy can just keep doing the right things and picking the right fights for the right reasons over the right policy and at the right people and the right set of voters, then he could be Premier in November, but we have a long way to go from then.
Well, you've just mentioned a bunch of things that are positive, policies that he could adopt. But what about criticising the incumbent? There's a lot to go for, isn't there?
There is a lot to go for. Look, the problem is that Matthew Guy copped a lot of flack last time he was leader for being too combative or being too shouty, I think the focus group said. So I think he's probably spooked by that last experience. The other issue is that during a campaign, you don't get the leader being too negative. You want to preserve the leader as being the friendly face of the campaign, the alternative premier. Typically what you have is you have the premier's or the leader's team going out there and being the attack dogs. The problem, of course, being that Matthew Guy doesn't have much of a team around him. Like any other state parliamentary party, there's a mix of good and bad, but the team largely consists of duds, so what can you do? The best attack dogs were people like Tim Smith, who's sadly on his way out. So without that, you have the leader having to be a one-man band, and there's not enough time in the media cycle to be both the friendly alternative premier and the attack dog in the same news bulletin.
Well, one thing that Dan Andrews is making it easy for Matthew Guy is his reluctance to walk among the people. One of the things that was interesting to see on the weekend was the Royals just walking among their subjects. If they had any security among them, it was very discreet. Yet Dan Andrews never risks that. He's never among the people. He's not even a man of the people, really, is he? This is plenty of opportunity for Matthew Guy to give him a product differential, as you say.
Yeah, well, look, that would be a good start. Maybe he should start, going out to communities, being seen to be among the people, doing what Dan does not do in his ivory tower or his bunker out there in Mulgrave. But the answer is Dan Andrews doesn't go out and meet the people because he can't, because there would be somebody in the crowd whose life has been ruined by 2 years of dictator Dan during Corona, who would be there and pick a fight with him. Somebody probably with a very sad story, somebody who, God forbid, has had children who've been completely messed up or worse from being locked inside for 2 years on end. The thing is, Dan has a very, very carefully crafted image, and part of that image is the I stand with Dan PR guy myth of Dan's popularity and being a strong leader. The more he's out there and the more he gets yelled at by people who have understandable grievances against him, the more that image starts to fade away and the more the emperor is left with no clothes. So I don't think we'll see much of Dan out and about during the campaign. I think it'll be a lot more stage managed than that.